Yes, live. Hi. So, hopefully you guys watch it now or later. It doesn't matter. But we're gonna talk about UFC 232 and our initial thoughts. It's coming up right off the top of the dome, right? So we haven't had a lot of time to think about this. But first and foremost, Rachel, what you thought about the card?
I thought it was a good card. I'm Team Jones all the way. I just wanted to see Jones win, and I did. And Nunes, I want to see her win too, and I did. So I'm happy. I don't know who else fought.
Okay. Let's start at the top. Let's talk about.
I'm not very good at doing reviews of fights.
Okay,
but I'll tell you what I saw.
I definitely want to hear your opinion. So we talk about John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Who?
The guy that John Jones fought, the white guy.
Oh, the Jack Steller guy?
Yeah, that dude. Okay, so John destroyed him. Okay, the first couple rounds went back and forth. Okay, but the third round, John Jones got the takedown. Mm-hmm. Okay, beat him up a little bit in half guard, past half guard, got the mount. Dude turned over. He took the back and pounded him out. It was academics. ABC.
Yeah, it was like that's why he's John Jones. Like he that's how he fights.
Man, I was so disappointed with how Alexander did not use any ground game. It was like he didn't even train it. And
okay, so that confuses me because I feel like to be in the UFC, like you have to train in your ground game at some point,
so to speak.
Right?
You would think that
he didn't use any. I don't think that is because he didn't train it or didn't know it. I feel like it's more of like a mental thing. Like either he had a moment of doubt and didn't act when he should have, or he was just exhausted. I don't know. When I competed in jiu-jitsu, I was really exhausted, and that's why I wasn't moving. Even though you were yelling at me, you were like, "Get up, get out of that situation," and all those things were yelling. And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." A little bit easier said than done. To keep lying here because this sucks. I'm really tired. So
I have to disagree because the fact that he can't be tired. It was just the third round. It was the beginning of the third round. In the first two rounds, Alexander didn't do a lot. It wasn't a back and forth, rock'em sock'em war where he was taking damage and they was banging it out. It was swinging for the fences and it totally exhausted.
Then maybe it was a mental thing. Like he stopped.
We're gonna talk about that in a second.
He stopped so many of John Jones's takedowns because he knew that if he got taken down, it was over. I feel like maybe like.
But do you think that's an indication that maybe he didn't prepare for the ground game enough? Because when he got put on the back, he showed no like tenacity.
Like he focused more on not getting taken down than developing a good ground game.
Yeah, like he didn't go to deep half guard. He didn't even go to full guard. Okay, let's try to strip.
What's deep half guard?
Okay, so let's strip out, right, and let's reattain our guard. Let's go to butterfly.
Well, that's why I'm saying maybe, okay, so yeah, maybe he didn't work enough on his ground game, but I think that mentally, once he had John Jones on top of him, I think he just kind of felt like he knew it was already going to be over. He just wasn't mentally strong enough to do what he needed to get out of that.
So most people know about...
He's tired, because fighting is hard.
You should know, right? So
I would know.
Yeah. So most people know about the controversy between John Jones and the steroids, and even the controversy between John Jones.
Come on, everyone does little steroids every now and then. It's not a big deal. Come on.
Anyways, and people know about this controversy between John Jones and Alexander because they fought before. This was their second fight. The first fight was a war, and also Alexander thought he won the first fight, so he was super confident going into this round, this fight.
Yeah, he didn't win this one.
That's what
Jack Steller.
So that's sad. I really thought Alexander was going to put up a better fight, and he really okay. So let's talk about the first couple rounds.
He came out and he did what he does. Like when you watch him fight, it's like he already knows what he wants to do, and the other person is just annoying and getting in the way. That's what it seems like when he's fighting. It's like you can tell he's always working on something, and he tries like stop what you're doing. Like okay, like knock it off. Now back to what I'm doing. Like constantly in his mind, you can tell he's not like jab, jab, jab. Like it's.
She's an expert.
You can.
So, I kind of agree with you.
No, because he's doing like little like this combo and that combo, and he's working here and he's working there, and he's
because
No,
it,
doing moves and
it,
punches
it
and
did
stuff.
it did seem like John had a goal, and Alexander was just reacting of what John was doing. 'Cause
Yeah, like he
he
was
fought
moving
with
him.
no goal, with no game plan. In my eyes, maybe he had a game plan. He didn't have enough time to implement it, or he couldn't find the timing, or things got weird in there because everybody have a game plan until you get punched in the face. But it seemed like Alexander fought with no game plan, and he was just reacting to what John was doing.
It's like when you're playing video games and you get to the boss at the end,
Yeah.
and you know the move that it takes to kill him, but you also know what he's gonna do to you. So you gotta kind of do like you're annoyed where you're like you gotta block, and then you go after him, then you do your little blocks. It's like, hey, I gotta stop him. He's gonna do this for a little while.
What game is
You
this?
know, like you're playing a Super Nintendo, and then Bowser, he comes down and he's like stomping in his little flower thing, and he's like stomping. You have to like
Bowser,
dodge and dodge and dodge and dodge and dodge, and then you can get a turtle shell and throw it up, and then it hits him. And you have to you're kind of annoyed while you're waiting for him to do this, and then when he gives you the
Why
opening,
am I confused right now?
It's Super Mario.
Okay. Okay. I don't know where that went, but I feel
It's like that. That's what he looks like when he's fighting. Like he already knows what to do to get this guy, and he looks like he's just constantly going after it.
So what do you think? Be honest now. Don't be a John Jones like fangirl, right? So what do you think this fight does for his legacy, considering all the controversy he's been through with the drugs and the switching of the fight? Like, do you think this fight is going to like erase all the negativity that surrounds John Jones?
I think this fight will officially make him a god.
Right.
Without fangirling.
Right. I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know how to respond to that. Okay.
I think that there are a lot of people that I know who were fans of Jones. They were really disappointed and upset and pissed off when they found out about the drugs.
Yeah.
And some of them went one way, and others were like, they just want him to get through it and get his life together, and he's a great fighter. So I think you kind of had like a mix. It depends. I don't think this one fight is going to determine how everyone's going to feel.
John has always posted about the fact that he did not intentionally take any drugs. It was tainted supplements.
Yeah, I've never intentionally taken any drugs either.
Yeah, and in his last situation where he had drugs in the system, it was from the original drug bust back in like 18 months ago. So he's still walking around feeling like an innocent man. Some people are going to believe that.
But then
some people won't.
Are pissed because then other people have gotten popped for like smaller amounts in their system, and they got thrown out. And it's like there's all these comparisons right now on what's fair and what's not, and it's going to take some time. Like he did good tonight.
So you think this win is going to make people kind of forget about the controversy that surrounds?
No, they're not going to forget. No, this isn't. Well, I'm saying one win is not going to be enough for people to forget. I feel like it's going to take multiple wins and multiple.
I agree with that.
Him being on the straight and narrow before people are like really Team Jones again. Except for
this is funny. It said, "Do you want to tag Gerard Dwayne Harris in this video?" That is so funny because people keep telling me I look like him. So
it wasn't performance enhancing, says Mike.
Yeah, well,
I know. See, some of us are just like Team Jones from the beginning, and there's some of us that are like, damn, yeah.
Mike Jones, listen.
I'm saying, us that are family.
I can't listen to your argument because I feel like you're a little bit biased.
Those of us that are
both of you
family
got the same last name.
Jones, we were really disappointed when we heard about what happened, but then it was like, yeah, we do hope that he turns it around and pulls it together and gets his shit together because he is an amazing fighter.
Would you like to see him fight Daniel Cormier for the third time? Do you think John Jones? Do you think that's the biggest fight he could have? Because he maybe have Anthony Smith, who's another 205er who came up, and that's actually a homie of mine. Or do you think the best next course of action for him to get at DC? Although he already beat DC twice, so what's the point of fighting a third time? It's a lose-lose for him.
Well, I feel like so DC is talking a lot of shit right now, so I feel like they kind of have to fight again, like at some point.
It's the biggest fight, I think, right now.
It's
the biggest fight
because he's talking so much, and he's just like it's got to happen. And yes, he's gonna beat DC again because that's what Jones does, is he wins.
Okay, well, obviously you are a big fan of John Jones. Okay, so moving along, and just to recap, I believe Alexander Gustafsson did not work enough off his back. For whatever reason, it looked like Alexander Gustafsson.
Oh, Jack's Tiller.
Yeah. So it just seemed like he spent probably his whole camp trying to stop takedowns, but he didn't work on being on his back and learning how to use half guard, how to get a full guard, how to go for sweeps, how to go for submissions.
I think he was just mentally defeated and he didn't.
I don't think that fight.
I don't think it was that he didn't know.
That fight did not go far enough for him to be mentally defeated. That's impossible.
He had John Jones on top of him. It freaked him out, and he
talking about
gave up. He
oh my god! I can't believe I'm having this argument with you
because he didn't know. Well, come on, he's in the UFC. It's not like he's like, oh, I don't know how to fight from my back. I've never done this before.
He obviously knows how to fight from his back, but I don't think he spent enough time off his back to prepare for John Jones.
He didn't do anything at all, though.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't do anything off his back. Right, he got taken down. He got his half guard pass. He gave up bounds, and then he gave up red mount. He gave up his back, and then he got pounded out. He never once. He didn't do the basic white belt. Right. Let me strip out and get full guard.
Exactly. So that means that it wasn't that he didn't know what to do, but that he was choosing not to do it because he mentally wasn't strong enough to make the decision.
Listen, you are fighting a world championship fight against the greatest fighter ever. I hear what you're saying. He didn't mentally break. Whatever.
He was the greatest fighter ever.
I mean, yeah.
No, I feel like we agree.
Yeah. Okay.
On that.
Well, listen.
No, I feel like we agree.
So
I like we're on the same page.
So Alexander
Let's talk about Nunes.
All right, Amanda Nunes versus Cyborg. Ain't much to say about that fight. I love Cyborg.
That was a great fight. That was fun to watch.
Amanda Nunes put some hands on her.
In order to be the best, Jones has to fight you, coach.
Yeah.
LOL.
Shit. Yeah. I'll beat his.
That's funny.
I will beat his ass.
That is funny.
Okay.
Please.
Go tell John Jones.
Oh my gosh.
If he's man enough to step in the cage with me, I will beat that ass. I will put his paws on him. Okay. He will know what an ass kicking feels like.
Oh my gosh.
So if I fought John Jones, who do you think is gonna win?
Hun, really?
You better answer correctly. Answer correctly.
Okay, this isn't GSP we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is John Jones.
Yeah, okay.
Jones was on point, effortless performance, homie. On another level. I was there.
Yeah. Yo, Kevin, word is born. Okay? I mean, you know Kevin Casey was on the Ultimate Fighter with me, with John Jones and Chael Sonnen. He was on Chael Sonnen's team. What do you thought about Alexander ground game? Okay? Give me your opinion and what you thought. I mean, how easy it was for John Jones to pass his guard, get him out, take his back and pound him out. That was ridiculously, easy.
That wasn't, I don't think that was a ground game thing. I think that was a mental defeated thing.
You don't mentally break in the third round in a championship fight.
You do not know how to do anything at all from your back in a UFC battle.
That's the worst sentence. I think that was like a quadruple negative. Wasn't a double negative sentence like a quadruple. You don't know nothing about nothing, never. Okay.
You know what I meant.
Okay, all right. So get into Amanda Nunes and Cyborg.
Man, I wanted Nunes to win, but I did not think it was going to happen like that quickly, it seemed like every punch you threw was connecting.
I still kind of
like John a lot from old times.
But man, he got 3 daughters and needs to grow the fuck up. He's an MMA goat though. Yeah. So Jamie Hugh was the boxing coach for the Ultimate Fighter. Mm-hmm. He was Chael Sonnen's boxing coach. I agree with you. I'm not going to argue anything you said. Yeah, there you go. You're right, Jimmy.
I agree. I think that's what everybody feels like. He needs to grow up and he needs to stop with all the dumb shit that he was doing. And I feel like this is him trying to make up for what he did, trying to come back, trying to show that he's grown up. But the thing is, because of what he did, it's going to take some time. He's going to have to stay consistent and not keep getting in trouble and not keep doing dumb shit.
We can't have no more issues, John. Johnny, no more issues. Okay. Amanda Nunes, Cyborg, we keep touching it and they go back to John Jones. Here's what I thought about the fight. First and foremost, damn, Cyborg, do you know anything about boxing defense? You get hit one time, and I understand you want to get some get back, but can you pull back, establish your jab, set it up, and then go for the kill. You just gonna swing from your hips. You look like Blvd out there. You got knocked out like the way Blvd been getting knocked out.
Well, I think from my experience with being a fighter and stuff,
Yeah.
I feel like because she's never been knocked out before.
You got experience of being a fighter?
Yeah, you don't know?
Okay.
So I feel like because she never got knocked out before, I think that it's probably worked for her before where like she could take a punch and then she delivers one right back. Like she's never really had to retreat like that like she should have. So she underestimated Nunes and
big time.
And yeah, and she probably thought she could just fight through it. And by the time she realized she was wrong, she was already so discombobulated that it was just over.
You know what I love when Amanda Nunes, when she threw her over right hand. See, a lot of people don't know this, right? So when you throw your over right hand and your elbow comes up and you have a perfect alignment where your elbow is behind your knuckle, it makes that punch so much harder. And when you hit maybe the ear or the head, it's a direct knuckle bone punch and it just puts you out. The over right hand was money, was on point, and I felt like I was way better than what Cyborg was throwing, which was hooks. A lot of hooks from the hips with the elbow was a little bit below the wrist, meaning that if you can see it, okay, I like when I punch when it's straight, right? So my elbow is behind my knuckle. When people are swinging like this, now my elbow is below my knuckle, and it makes my punches less effective or less hard. So
what about an uppercut?
Well, she didn't throw no uppercut, but the difference in the punching power, I think it was just alignment of the bone structure, and obviously aiming and looking for the openings. Honestly,
yeah, she wasn't being defensive at all. She was just trying to be offensive while Nunes was being offensive, and Nunes was landing what she was throwing, and she was still trying to be offensive in that, and it just wasn't working.
It was kind of sad to see. We were expecting more of a war. They had 5 rounds. They got finished in the first 2-3 minutes of the first round.
I like that it wasn't just like one lucky shot though. You know,
yeah.
I like that she didn't just catch you with one shot. Like she got her and she got her and she got her and she got her, and it was clear that she was the better fighter.
Could a rematch happen?
Like you can't argue who the better fighter was in that kind of fight. She didn't just catch her slipping. Like she got her and got her and got her.
I will say I do think a rematch is warranted only because Cyborg was undefeated for so many years. And the truth is, who else Amanda Nunes is going to fight? Like, the division is very thin. And
she can fight John Jones.
Okay, anyways.
Are you just saying?
So, I'm just going to mention a couple other fights that stuck out to me because this card was mad nice. I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Uriah Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Uriah Hall, man, that was a hell of a knockout. And shout out to you and your sister. Oh, you know, I guess I could tag myself. Boom, tag. There it is.
Is that you or is that your dad?
Ooh.
You just tagged your dad.
Okay, well, whatever. He's tagged. Great knockout. I wish you'd have pulled the trigger a little bit earlier, but you talked about it. You said you had a hard time finding your range because the guy was so, lengthy and things like that. But, man, I'm glad you won. And once again, shout out to your sister. Hopefully.
That was good. I like when he gets mad.
Yeah.
I do. I like watching fight when he's mad.
Yeah. Another one, the BJ Penn versus Ryan Hall fight. Man, hopefully BJ Penn retires. Like, there's nothing else to say about that. He's a legend, but he's killing his legend status. Like, when do you stop being a legend? Granted, you did great things, but if you end off your career with like 6-7 losses, how do you consider yourself still a legend? You had a legendary period, but if you keep fighting when you shouldn't and you lose, are you still a legend? It's questionable, man. I know I'm nobody that should be questioning BJ Penn, but I'm just speaking, in general. Like if you continue to keep fighting and you continue to keep losing, you're no longer a legend, man. You gave that up like 5-6 years ago. The dude haven't had a good win in the last decade. Yo, I don't know. I'm just tossing it out there.
Real talk.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Hall, great jiu-jitsu, great heel hook. It's kind of predictable. People knew that was gonna happen, and it happened. What's another fight that was good? The Megan Anderson versus Kat Zagano. The toe in the eye.
Oh yeah, that girl kicked that girl in the eye. Oh. Yeah.
You know,
That was weird.
I thought it was honestly great job of Megan and seeing the opening to go for the head kick. The range was a little bit off. If she was like 2 inches closer, she could have knocked her out. The fact,
Yeah, that would have been a better win to get though if she had like knocked her out. Just because it's like it's always awkward when it's like, oh, you told me in the eye, so now it's over. You know,
yeah,
it's
but
like
but the fact is, you had
it's weird.
Casagano, who's a warrior in her own right, but she's circling and moving with her hands down. Like,
Roy Jones soiled his legacy, unfortunately, the same way.
yeah, because he did have some losses where he should have retired. But you know what the thing about Roy Jones is that he actually had some wins too. I mean, he wasn't fighting no top name guys. He lost, but he also knocked some guys out. So it was going back and forth. He was winning and losing, winning and losing. BJ Penn just been losing, 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 losing. Like, it makes no sense. Um, and I really believe Roy Jones had a longer winning streak, like, than BJ. I mean, I'm gonna say right. Roy Jones had a longer winning streak than BJ Penn had. And I understand the difference between boxing and MMA, but Roy Jones was like, he took out the 90s. He was he was the fighter of the decade for the 90s.
Roy Jones was?
Yes, for the 90s. Yeah, he actually
What
won an
about Mike
award.
Tyson?
No, Mike Tyson. In the 90s, Mike Tyson was up and down, and he's Mike Tyson more like the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Roy Jones was the 90s. Okay, so to compare Roy Jones to BJ Penn, I understand the point that my man Jamie's making, but I think it's comparing the apples to oranges. Because Roy Jones, he laid down his ground floor. He beat the best. He even moved up multiple weight classes and beat the best. BJ Penn has just been losing. All right. Oh yeah, Cazagano, Megan Anderson, Cazagano. Listen, I'm not your coaches, but I tell you what, keep your hands up. When you're moving, keep your hands up. Stop moving and having your hands down, because that kick could have, it took out your eye, but it could have took out your jaw. True story. All right, you got any
Yeah,
more? You got anything?
I only knew about the two, so.
You don't know about the last fight, do you? You only cared about John Jones' fight.
Yeah, but the Nunes one too. I wanted to see that.
All right,
So
guys.
yeah, that's about it.
Thank y'all for watching my hour Gilbert Smith, Rachel Jones post-fight UFC 232 review. If you have any thoughts and concern, hit us up. Roy Jones was a pound for pound greatest of the era. He just gave people a reason to doubt him after Tarver went south. Yeah, but he was the pound for pound greatest. Like I said,
Yeah, I thought Tyson.
because most people don't know shit about boxing.
Are you trying to tell me I don't know shit about boxing?
Are you most people?
No, I'm not.
Facts. All right. Hopefully y'all enjoy the fights. I think we were probably gonna try to do this more often after big UFC pay-per-view fights.
Yeah, he'll give his opinion and I'll just make stupid comments. It'll be fun.
You shoot my comic relief. All right, guys.
From the cartoon
Yeah.
in the background.
Enjoy your weekend. Have a good day.